While PlayStation 5 systems are allegedly going up for preview on October 4th, some potential early leaks showcase the available storage and the boot up of the system, which answers some lingering questions we have had about it. New Mii costumes were revealed for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate today, and 2 of them were really cool. And finally, members of Team Xecuter, a well-known Nintendo Switch hacking group, have been arrested on federal charges in a major case. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. Hope you're having a good day. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. So a few days ago on the channel, we of course talked about the Xbox Series X previews that have been floating around the internet. Microsoft was basically sending out units to press members. I guess mine got lost in the mail or something, but we did learn a ton about the hardware and why it's pretty impressive. Be sure to check out that video if you're interested in why I'm so impressed with the Xbox Series X. But with Sony and the PlayStation 5, things have been, well, pretty quiet. That seems to be changing though, as allegedly preview systems are being distributed now, and of course I don't have one, and supposedly on October 4th, official system previews will be launching for Sony's new hardware. That of course hasn't stopped leaks from happening, however, and a Twitter user named Okami13_ has compiled the more interesting leaks that have hit Reddit with lots of evidence. The first thing we learned about the PlayStation 5 is although it does have a custom 825GB SSD storage drive, you won't have access to all of that, of course. After the operating system files are factored in, you only have about access to 664GB of storage. Now supposedly Sony believes that file sizes could be smaller this generation for games, but so far we really haven't had any sort of indication of that, and it really boils down to how developers manage to compress their games if they choose to do such. I could definitely see this 644GB storage drive filling up after maybe 3 or 4 games, and that could be a big problem for people. Now Astro's Playroom, which of course comes pre-installed on the PlayStation 5, looks like a fun free little title from what we've seen so far, is shown as having a file size of just 2.4GB, which is pretty small for a Sony title, so maybe that is giving us a little bit of an indication that some games could potentially be smaller, but obviously Astro's Playroom isn't a big AAA game or anything like that, so it really remains to be seen. We also get a boot up sequence for the PlayStation 5 as well. Now what's interesting about that is that in this video you can clearly see something interesting with the PlayStation 5 controller, and in the person's hand, well, it's a black controller, and everything we've seen so far is the white and black color scheme. This honestly leads me to believe that this is not a retail system that is being shown off, but a development kit, which it could mean that this isn't the official boot up for the PlayStation 5 as far as how long it takes, because obviously the boot up for this system is longer than we saw with the Xbox Series X system. That could potentially also play into the fact with the SSD storage drive as well, as maybe the consumer systems will have a bit more access, but I'm not quite sure about that. And finally, there's a couple pictures of the supposed UI of the system as well, which is the user interface, and we noticed 2 things about these pictures. First off, this dude needs to wipe down his monitor because it's dusty as hell. Like, what are you doing? It looks absolutely disgusting, and I'm a disgusting individual. But second, it is a pretty plain and simple UI, and honestly kind of reminds me of the PlayStation 3 UI. Obviously, we're going to be learning the actual stuff whenever the previews for the PlayStation 5 go live. Like I said, that is being indicated as happening on October 4th, but it's always interesting to talk about the leaks when they happen. We obviously have potentially learned a lot about the PlayStation 5, especially when it comes to the SSD storage drive on it. So I want to know in the comment section down below if you are a bit disappointed that you're only going to have potentially access to 664GB of storage, considering that a lot of games, even on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, hit often over the 100GB mark. Next up today, we had a Sakurai Presents presentation for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, of course showcasing off the new character of the game, Steve from Minecraft. Now, I'm not a Minecraft fan or anything like that, but obviously this was an addition for the kids because, well, Minecraft is a very popular game. We learned about Steve, variations of Steve, Steve's levels, how Steve is going to work into the game, and honestly, it looks pretty cool. I might not end up picking up Steve because, like I said, I don't really care about him, but it is a nice addition to Smash Bros. Considering, well, Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time. The thing I was interested in, though, is the new Mii costumes for various Mii characters that you have in this game, because I think that's one area that Nintendo just hasn't been getting enough credit in, is all these cool Mii costumes that are being added in. So Today we learned about 6 new characters entering Super Smash Bros. Ultimate via Mii costumes, and 2 of them I care about, and the other 4, well, I really don't. But I'll show you guys the trailer so you can pick and decide which characters you like. The first character that caught my eye was, of course, Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes. Now, of course, No More Heroes 3 is an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. It was supposed to come out this year, and now it has been delayed until 2021, and some people wanted Travis Touchdown to be an official character in the game, but I think he looks really cool. I like his aesthetic. I think it's a good representation of Travis Touchdown and a good representation of the No More Heroes franchise into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's be realistic. No More Heroes isn't the biggest franchise in the world or anything like that, so to see some representation in Smash Bros. Is admittedly pretty cool. And the second character is one of the most iconic characters in the world, and it's Bomberman from, well, I mean the Bomberman games. Once again, I think this is a great Mii costume. Bomberman isn't necessarily a character who needs all the bells and whistles of a full-on character with stages and things like that. I think just having a Bomberman representation and via a Mii costume is a very positive thing. So overall, I really enjoyed these 2 characters being added into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate via Mii costumes. I think Mii costumes are super underrated when it comes to playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I've said super a lot in this segment, but you know what? It's super! It's super! And finally, Nintendo, as we know, doesn't really play around with their IPs. When it comes to fan games, they tend to take them down when they get too big. When it comes to ROM websites, they tend to go after ROM websites when they're using Nintendo likeness and, of course, charging for ROMs. It's something we've seen time and time again, but now a big case is actually happening because 3 members of Team Xecuter, which is a very popular Nintendo Switch hacking group, have been arrested on federal charges. Yes, the federales are involved in this case. So I briefly want to go over this case with you guys, tell you guys why these dudes got arrested, who they are, and what this really means going forward in the future. So the 3 individuals who got arrested were Max Laurent, who is a 48-year-old male from France, a Yuaning Chen, I'm going to say Yuaning Chen, a 35-year-old man from China, and Gary Bowser. Yes, Bowser has been arrested for hacking a Nintendo Switch. A 51-year-old Canadian were all charged in a federal indictment that was unsealed yesterday. Basically, what is happening is these defendants line their pockets by stealing and selling the work of other video game developers, even going as far as to make customers pay for a licensing fee to play stolen games, says U.S. Attorney Brian Moran from the Western District of Washington. This conduct just doesn't harm billion-dollar companies. It hijacks the hard work of individuals working to advance in the video game industry. According to the indictment, Team Xecuter at times cloaked its illegal activity with a desire to support gaming enthusiasts who wanted to design their own video games for non-commercial use. However, the overwhelming demand and use of the enterprise's devices was to play pirated video games. To support this illegal activity, Team Xecuter allegedly helped create and support online libraries of pirated games for its customers, and several of the enterprise's devices came preloaded with numerous pirated software video games. According to the indictment, Team Xecuter was so brazen that it even required customers to purchase a license to unlock the full features of its custom firmware, the SXOS, in order to enable the ability to play pirated games. So right then and there, I think it is a pretty clear situation as to why this company was being targeted. A lot of people are saying that Nintendo brought this on, and of course Nintendo was a part of this situation as this case is happening in Seattle, but this is federales. This is FBI stuff that is happening with this situation. So obviously it is a lot bigger than Nintendo just filing a claim themselves when you have the federal government involved. Team Xecuter definitely messed up by charging for things when it comes to getting these pirated games. By charging a licensing fee, you're definitely putting a big target on yourself. It really seems like this is an operation that was just growing because of things like greed. Now, Team Xecuter has been around for many, many years. They originally did stuff on the original Xbox as well. Modern Vintage Gamer has a really good look at this whole situation that's a bit more in depth than mine, because he, of course, is a part of, scenes like that. He knows the modding scene, he knows the homebrew scene and stuff like that. So make sure you guys go check out our favorite Englishman with his little scones and his little tea that he's sipping on. But of course, this is a situation that was eventually going to come to a head, and now it really has. I'm really interested to see the outcome of this case because I think it's going to set an interesting precedent going forward. Of course, homebrew in and of itself is not an illegal thing, but once you start charging for things as far as pirated software is concerned, you're going to have companies looking down your back. I know a lot of people are kind of just saying, oh, Nintendo's being overbearing with this situation, but obviously this isn't just a Nintendo thing. It is a federal case that is now being investigated, so there's a lot more than this to meets the eye than what Nintendo does with like ROM websites and stuff stuff like that. So I'm definitely interested to see how this plays out. Let me know in the comments section down below what you think of this situation, because obviously things are heating up very, very quickly. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to let me know what you think of everything in the comments section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel as well. Like I said, make sure you guys go check out that Xbox Series X preview we did a couple days ago on the channel. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.